Hello guys, and welcome back. This is Buck Weezer, Buck's Small Engine DIY on YouTube, where we put the do into do-it-yourself, and I welcome you back. This is part 2 of the video. We're trying to figure out what's going on with Big Red. It's a 2003 Ford F150. It's got a 4.2 liter V6, and I'm struggling for a long time with this intermittent crank no start. This video will make more sense to you if you go ahead and watch the first video, which we posted almost 10 months ago. And since that time, the truck's been running fine. I've been having no problems, but now that the weather's cold again, I'm getting this crank no start thing again. Now, just to bring you up to speed, we had determined that we would cycle the key, but the fuel pump would not energize, and we had no fuel pressure. But as I cycled the key a few more times, eventually it would kick in, we'd get fuel pressure, and the truck would start. And I had noticed and commented at the time that I felt like it was due to, it was something I was experiencing in cold weather. Let's close the door. And I'm also going to put on my seatbelt. So the seatbelt chime is silenced when I cycle the key. We're going to see what happens here. So I've been driving the truck with no problems for 9 months. And here we are in December, and it's cold again, and yesterday won't start. So let's see what happens now. All right. Usually I can hear the fuel pump cycle, for those 2 seconds, but I don't hear it now. And we have a crank no start. So let's cycle the key again. Okay, I do hear the pump doing something, but it doesn't sound quite right. And it's not. I know that the pump is getting power because I can hear it doing some kind of whine back there, but it's not the right sound. My ears are telling me that it's not working right. And of course we have no fuel pressure as a result, and we're not starting. I want to do one final test before calling the diagnosis as needing a new fuel pump. I want to use my ammeter and see what kind of electrical draw is when the pump's not working right. What kind of amperage draw is it getting? So I'm going to set that up and we'll take a look together. Hold on. All right, so I've got my ammeter set up at fuse number 10, which is the fuel pump circuit. We'll zoom in on that. Can you see it? I want to cycle the key, so we'll do key on, engine off, and see what kind of amperage draw we get. Okay, that was like 13 amps, which is way too much. We'll try it again. Key off, key on. Went up to 13.8 amps. That's way too much. Key on, engine off should be about 4.2 amps, 4.8 amps. We did this test before when it was working fine. That's just way too much draw. Let's try one more time. 13.8. Now let's crank it. Again, 12.6. Way too much. All right, my friends, it's time to call the pump bad. We need to replace the fuel pump in this guy. I know that it's getting power because I can hear it making noise. It's just not the right noise. Yep, and it's drawing way too much power. All right, it's fuel pump time, guys. And welcome back, everybody. So the good news is this fuel pump replacement job may not be as difficult as we thought. A little poking around online, and I learned that I do not need to drop the tank. I do not need to drain the tank. But what we do need to do is unbolt the truck bed, lift it up a little bit, and slide it back 8 inches, 12 inches. And that's really all we have to do to get access to the fuel pump. Where is the fuel pump? Well, It's mounted inside the tank, but it's located really right here, right behind the cab. We only really need to move this truck bed back 8 or 12 inches, as I said. Well, truck bed's held down by 6 bolts. There's one there, and up front. Same on this side. And these come out with a Torx T50 bit. Now, we might get lucky and be able to get them out fairly easily, or they may be, depending on the amount of rust in this 20-year-old truck, they may not come out very good at all, in which case we'll just have to cut them off. But I'm kind of hoping, truck's not that rusty, I'm hoping we'll be able to get them off. I might take off the bumper. It's not essential, but if I don't take it off, then I'm going to have to lift the bed over the bumper. Probably going to have to lift the bed up to get over the wheels anyway. I've seen other people where they will jack the truck up and remove the wheels, so they can just slide the bed straight back instead of having to lift it. But that's where we're at right now. So I already took off the tailgate, and I pulled out this bed liner because my bed does have a little bit of rust. There's a hole there and a hole there. That one's been repaired, but I had to pull that that bed liner out so I could get access to those bolts. So yeah, I'm excited to do this, and I appreciate you joining me. So let's get working and see if these bolts are going to come out. Now, I already crawled under the truck and hit them with some penetrating oil, so hopefully that'll help. I got the big long 18-inch, half-inch ratchet. I got our big impact gun too, so we'll see. Hopefully these 6 bolts will come off without too much trouble. Let's get started. All right, we'll give this a try. I don't know. It's pretty tight. Pretty tight indeed. Isn't it nice when your vehicle breaks down on your own property? I mean, I'm not out on the highway somewhere. I'm not stranded in some parking lot. Here I am, my own place. My tools are on hand. That's the way to do it. Oh yeah, that one breaks. All right. I don't want to take that for granted, you know. Don't want to take that for granted at all. All right, that's pretty good. But this guy. He's turning. Okay, I think 2 of them are cooperating, at least so far. There's 3. Gonna move. Well, that's nice. Awesome. Yeah. All right, now you gotta focus on those 2 back there. lucky on one more. Not yet. I did go ahead and pull the bumper. Probably not required, but it might make it a little easier. It's only 21 millimeter nuts that come off. 2 and 2 makes 4. You unplug the license plate bulbs, just twist them and they'll pop right out. So that's done, and that'll be out of the way, make our job a little bit easier, I think. I hope. Well, that 6th and final bolt would not come out. Eventually, the Torx just stripped out, and so I have to get out the angle grinder, and we'll cut that out. I should be grateful that we got 5 out of 6, you know, but this one was uncooperative, so I'm gonna try to cut it off. Oh, it ain't. All right. Between the angle grinder and a hammer and chisel, I was able to pop the head off of that final bolt. So that's done. Maybe once we move the bed out of the way, I might be able to grab that with some, I don't know, vice grips or something, and see if we can break it loose, but whatever, it's not that big a deal. I think the one remaining thing that I have to do is free up the filler neck from the bed, and I think there's usually a couple of screws here. 1, 2, 3. I don't know. I'm gonna take those off, and at that point I think should be about ready to slide this bed back. These screws, taking a 9/32. Got it. There's 3. All right, I think we got everything freed up to slide this back. Got a helper on the other side, and we're going to try to lift it up and slide it back. All right, so you got to focus on that filler neck. Can you stop right there? Yeah. That might be all we need to do. Because there's the fuel pump right there.
So do you want me to hold it?
Can you set on the tire?
Oh, wait. Yeah, we're good.
Perfect. So I don't think we need to take it back any further. You can see the fuel pump right there on top of the gas tank.
Yeah.
I can easily reach in and do what I need to do.
Is it stable enough though? Yeah.
Trim. All right, thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll show you what we're looking at. Here's our fuel tank. Here's our fuel pump. A lot of dirt on top of it back there. I had to clean that off, don't I? But wasn't too much of a job getting it. There's the bolt that had to cut off the head. Well, there's our fuel pump, and I've cleaned off the top of the tank. It's time to remove that guy. I've gone ahead and disconnected the negative cable from the battery just to be safe, and hopefully you'll be able to see what I do as I put the camera over on this side and I'm going around to the other side. All right, so I want to disconnect the wire. All right, and here's our harness. There you go. Push down on that tab on the top. Examining our connector, it looks pretty clean. I don't see any corrosion. All right, so that part's done. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 8mm bolts. I guess before I take it out, I need to disconnect these fuel lines. Let's do that next. I don't think our lines are pressurized, but I'm going to put a rag under there just in case we get some leakage. There's that guy. And he pulls off. Alright, not too bad. And there we go. Alright, that's fine. Dropped it. I think I'm gonna blow the dust off before I go any further. Gotta get the compressor. There she is. It's out. All right. Let's take it inside and swap the pump motor over. Okay, so we're inside and we're going to switch over this pump. Hopefully I won't get scolded by family members for the smell of gasoline in the house. Now you can buy this entire assembly and just plop it in, a new one, but I decided that I would get I'd save a little money and just get the motor, which is a part down here, and reuse the assembly. It just takes a little bit of work to swap it over. But I don't see any reason why I can't reuse the rest of this. And I got a Delphi pump. I also decided I'd get a new strainer. It goes on the bottom because after 20 years I felt like a new strainer would be a good thing to do. So I got that. The thing about this box is it looks well handled, and I get the sense that this package has been opened before. This keeps happening to me. I'm not sure why. I don't see anything missing, but it's clear to me that this plastic bag was already ripped open at some point, so I don't know what that means. Hopefully it doesn't mean anything serious. Maybe someone bought it and then decided they would just send it back and buy the whole assembly. I don't really know, but it looks like everything's here. You got the pump motor, wiring harness. I don't think we'll be using that. A little extension hose that runs between the pump and the pickup tube. The instructions are very generic. I've read them. They're the kind of instructions that would apply to virtually any fuel pump swap. They're not really very specific to what we're doing. I got a bunch of gaskets. I don't know that I need any of them, because if I reuse this one, this is a flat, different kind of gasket. It's not even included in this kit. So I don't know if I'll be using any of those. But this is the main thing right here. So this assembly, of course, is your fuel pump, but it's also your fuel level indicator with this float. So your connector, your wiring harness, has 4 wires, 2 that supply power for the pump, and then 2 that are part of the tank level sensor. So that's always worked fine on my truck, and still does. I don't think I need to change that out. That's why I decided let's just get the pump. And this kit plus the new strainer cost me, I think, $113, and a Delphi complete assembly was over $200. So I saved a little money, and I think that will be fine. So let's swap it over. Alright, so these 2 clamps aren't going to be reusable, so I do have a couple. These didn't come with the pump, but I have them in my own stash of stuff. This guy will come off with this clamp will come off with a 7mm socket. I'm going to reuse that clamp. Once again, the gloves are an obstacle. Alright, clamp comes off, save him. Okay. So there's that. He comes free. Let's take off these clamps next. Pump pulls off. Possibly I could reuse this piece of hose, but I got a new piece and be worth doing. Alright, so he comes off. Alright, so there's our pump motor. There we go. Alright. So there's that rubber housing. My new one comes with that, so don't need to reuse him. Taking off our connector, I'm not sure how he unplugs. There we go. Alright, that's the old guy. He did 196,000 miles. Probably got our money's worth out of him, huh? And here's our new pump. But what do you see? This doesn't quite plug in that way. That might be what this guy's for. Alright, so here's our new pump. Let's set it up and install it on the assembly. Remove this cap, don't want to forget that. And then we can slide this guy into the rubber shoe. Just like that. This cap also will need to come off. We're going to be using this tail, so we need to plug him in. Let's see. Here's our hose. So we're going to have to stick him on there. And use a clamp. Alright, so now I think we need the other clamp. And we can slide it up into place. And we'll tighten that clamp. Alright, that's pretty good. We'll get our bracket and secure that into place. He was a 7mm. Alright, we make our wire connection up here. I have it tucked up out of the way. I don't think that'll be in the way of anything. Alright. Now we got to place our new strainer on the end. So you had a knob there and then the inlet right there. Ah, I'm an idiot. This has a little cap on it also. I want to take that off. Dummy. And that's it. It's on. I think that's all there is to it. New pump, hose, clamps, wiring harness, connector, strainer. I think we're ready to go back out to the vehicle. That's better. There we go. That's it. All right. All right. Our pump's back in place and connected, fuel lines, power lines. But before we put the whole truck back together, it would behoove us to get inside the truck, and I've reconnected the battery. We'll cycle the key. We'll see if the truck's going to start. I think that would be a good idea before we button it all back up. All right. Cycle the key. I heard something. Did you hear it? We'll cycle the key again. All right. Let's start it up. Okay, it's running. And we'll take a look there. I don't see any leaks. I think we're good. I think we're good. Well, before we knock off, I want to run the same tests for fuel pressure and for amperage draw as we did before. So let me set that up and we'll take a look at that together. Okay, the ammeter's connected. Zoom in on that. See what we can get with key on, engine off. Let's try that. Ready? 4.27. All right, now let's try key on, engine running. 4.6. 4.5, and that's more in line with what it should be. All right, very good. Now let's check fuel pressure. All right, there's our fuel pressure gauge. Zoomed in on that. Hope you can see it. We're going to try key on, engine off first. It's about 35, 34, holding at 34. I'm going to try that again. Cycle the key. About 36 right there, if I'm reading the numbers right. All right, let's start it up. That's right at 29 or 30. Yeah. That's, and turn it off. Drops to 25 and holding. All right, that's good. So our fuel pressure and our amperage draw for the new pump checks out fine, and I think we've got this problem solved. Well, that wraps up our video. I just wanted to give you a few final thoughts, and I want to thank you for watching. It's been a long video, so if you stuck with it, I really appreciate it. Hopefully the video was helpful and instructive and enjoyable for you. The project was that for me. And I think the difficulty, the reason this was a 10-month project is because when you have a problem that's only intermittent and only manifests itself intermittently, it's really hard to get a good diagnosis. But I always think, you know, an intermittent problem will eventually manifest itself anew. It'll reappear, and probably in a more permanent fashion. And it's at that point where you can make a diagnosis, as we did in this case, and make the call on the fuel pump. So I'm really happy that it turned out so good, and I just love this truck. It really suits me, and I'm happy to get it back on the road again. So please give me your comments and questions in the discussion below. I'll look forward to seeing you all on our next video. Only you can put the do into do-it-yourself. See ya. Oh yeah, that's nice.